It is just a universally acknowledged truth that there are some people walking this earth who should fundamentally, under no circumstances, ever be allowed near a bottle of high-end tequila.
Oh, absolutely not.
Or like a room full of intensely attractive people. Or, reality television cameras.
It's a recipe for an absolute disaster, like a psychological collapse.
Right. And yet somehow, the Bravo guys consistently find these exact, highly combustible individuals, put them all in one incredibly dimly lit bar in Charleston, and just sit back to let them completely destroy their own lives for our personal entertainment.
I mean, it is truly a masterclass in social experimentation at this point.
It so is. The bad decisions. Staggering. The nightlife chaos. Unprecedented.
We are watching the active real-time collapse of the prefrontal cortex on national television.
Literally. The absolute terrifying refusal to live in actual grounded reality. Honestly, babes, it deserves an Emmy Award for psychological warfare.
It really does. It's a study in delusion.
Babes, welcome back. Happy Friday, babes. Because by the time you hear this, babes, it'll be Friday.
The best day of the week, honestly. We survived.
Barely. And we need you to know right now, before we say another word, that the frozen peach bellinis are heavily, heavily back on deck today.
Oh, they are not just on deck. They are practically running the entire show today.
They are the main characters.
And I need the Snark squad to know that these were poured with a dangerously heavy hand on the wine, like a genuinely concerning ratio.
Look, I was stressed.
I looked at the blender picture and thought, well, we are either going to have a brilliant, transcendent recording session, or we are going to need aggressive legal representation by the end of the hour.
And babes, we are absolutely loving this. The peach bellinis, or as we affectionately call them in this household, the leanies, they just continue to absolutely dominate the summer.
They reign supreme. There is no competition.
Right. And I was actually thinking about the science behind this earlier today. Why do we love them so much?
I'm ready for the thesis.
Well, because holding a frozen drink in a stemmed glass automatically makes you 40% happier. It just does.
Yeah. It's an instant mood elevator.
It scientifically removes the burden of adult responsibilities from your shoulders the second the condensation hits your palm.
There is an actual psychological mechanism at play there, though.
Wait, really? Know me?
Yeah, it's the adult equivalent of holding a security blanket.
Yeah.
When you introduce extreme cold to your palate, the frosty texture, that brain freeze adjacent sensation.
Oh, I love that feeling.
Right. It acts as an immediate sensory interrupt. It forces your brain to stay present in the physical moment rather than, spiraling about your endless to-do list.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
You have a frozen peach bellini in your hand, and suddenly you are immune to chronic stress. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have crushing student loans. You don't have 75 unread emails marked as urgent.
You are just a chic, unbothered person living your best, most hydrated life on a patio.
Exactly. I honestly think we've both become completely, hopelessly emotionally dependent on the leanies.
Oh, 1,000%. It's a full-blown emotional crutch, and I am absolutely not apologizing for it. Every single recording session we do now legitimately feels like an exclusive patio party.
We are sitting behind the velvet rope, passing rigorous, highly analytical judgment on the masses.
Which, honestly, is exactly what we're doing.
We are the VIPs of our own living room, and frankly, with the absolute nightmare week we've both had in the real world, we need the VIP treatment.
We really do. We have one more grueling work day before the weekend, and babes, we need to discuss our roses and thorns of the day. Because the dental trenches were aggressively real this week.
They were real, they were deep, and they were borderline traumatic. You go first. I need to mentally prepare myself to relive my own clinical trauma.
Okay, so, my rose. It was actually super unexpected and genuinely wholesome.
Oh, I love wholesome.
I had this little kid come in for a cavity filling, and he was terrified. Visceral, full body shaking, crying, clinging to his mom's leg like I was holding a medieval torture device instead of, a tiny little high-speed drill.
Kids in the chair are so tough. It's pure panic.
Pure panic. Yeah. And pediatric dentistry is all about psychological diversion.
Right.
You have to totally hijack their fear response.
Right, you have to be an entertainer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I spent 20 solid minutes just talking him down. We completely reframed the environment. We named the suction tube Mr. Thirsty.
Oh my gosh, classic Mr. Thirsty.
Always works. We talked about the geopolitical dynamics of Paw Patrol. We did the whole elaborate song and dance. And by the end of it, his nervous system completely regulated.
Wow, look at you go.
He was totally fine. And when he was leaving, He literally ran back down the hallway and gave me the biggest, tightest hug around my knees.
Shut up. That is so sweet. Oh, so sweet. My ovaries honestly did a little flutter. I was feeling like a pediatric hero.
Okay, that is incredibly adorable. I love that for you. It almost makes up for the daily horrors of the profession.
Keyword being almost.
Right, almost. Because then, of course, the universe had to humble me immediately. So my thorn. I had this guy in his late 20s, maybe early 30s, come in for some major restorative work.
Okay, setting the scene?
We had him completely numbed up. Like, I hit the inferior alveolar nerve block perfectly.
Oh, a textbook block. Nice.
Thank you. Full Novocaine, half of his face is entirely paralyzed.
Yeah.
He literally cannot control his own orbicularis or muscle, the muscle around the lips.
Yeah, he's totally slack.
He's actively drooling onto the paper bib. And he decides that this precise, vulnerable, deeply unsexy moment is the time to start relentlessly hitting on me.
No, tell me he did not.
He absolutely did.
Well, numb.
Well, totally numb. He's trying to give me these smoldering, seductive, intense eyes, but one side of his mouth is drooping down to his chin like a melted candle.
I'm screaming.
And he's slurring his words so badly because his tongue is numb, he sounds like he's speaking underwater.
Oh my God, what was he even saying?
He's trying to ask me what I'm doing this weekend. And a literal viscous string of drool connects his bottom lip directly to his chest while he's saying it.
The visual of that is haunting
I
me.
had to excuse myself to go to the supply closet and just laugh silently into a box of sterile gauze. I couldn't handle it.
That is the most tragic, scientifically fascinating attempt at flirtation I have ever heard in my entire life. The delusion of men is something we will study for decades.
It's unparalleled.
The fact that his male ego completely overrode his physical reality. He thought he was pulling off James Bond while actively wearing a pastel paper bib and leaking bodily fluids.
It's staggering. The confidence is wildly unearned and completely divorced from reality.
Truly divorced.
Okay, what about you? What was your rose and thorn in the clinic today?
Well, my rose is strictly, unapologetically professional because I am a master of my craft.
Oh, pop off. Let's hear it.
I executed what I can only describe as a flawless, aesthetically perfect, completely textbook extraction.
Okay, Frex.
It was a notoriously difficult molar. It was impacted. It had a weird diverging root structure, the exact kind of extraction that usually ruins your entire afternoon and makes you question your life choices.
Oh, those are the absolute worst. I sweat just thinking about those.
Right. But I got the elevators in there, applied the perfect amount of apical pressure to expand the bone, severed the periodontal ligaments with absolute precision, and it just
Knocked right out.
popped out. Perfectly intact, clean margins. It belonged in a medical textbook. I literally called my assistant over just to stand there and admire the empty socket with me.
Wait, I love when that happens. It is so profoundly satisfying.
It was a true work of art.
It's like popping a really good piece of industrial bubble wrap, but with an advanced medical degree.
Exactly. I felt like an anatomical god, but then, of course, my thorn immediately dragged me back to earth.
Oh no, who ruined it?
The office manager, who, by the way, I am convinced is actively, methodically plotting my eventual demise.
She is definitely out to get you. I've said this.
She decided to double book my two most high-maintenance, demanding, medically compromised, terrified of the dentist patients back to back.
That is foul.
Actually, no, not even back to back, at the exact same time.
Oh no. That is a recipe for an absolute logistical disaster. What was she thinking?
She wasn't. It was a full-blown waiting room meltdown. Anxiety is contagious, right? It's a systemic failure of office management.
Totally. Once one patient starts panicking, the whole room feels it.
Exactly. One of them is pacing the floor, aggressively complaining about the wait time, escalating their own heart rate. The other is practically hyperventilating into a stale magazine, absorbing the other person's panic. And I am literally bouncing between operatories, trying to maintain this aura of calm, authoritative control while internally screaming.
I would have faked an illness and gone home. I really would have.
I was sweating completely through my scrubs. It was pure, unfiltered chaos.
See, this is exactly why we need the peach blinis.
Yeah.
We are out there doing the Lord's work, saving teeth, dodging human saliva, managing profound psychological crises, and we deserve a frozen, heavily poured beverage.
We really do. And we also deeply deserved the lunch we had today.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Babes, the Snark squad needs to know that by some absolute miracle, we managed to coordinate our lunch breaks today and met up.
We did. We met up for lunch, and babes, we got Indian food.
And honestly, We haven't been this excited about Indian food since we covered Splitsvilla.
Not since Splitsvilla. It was nothing short of a spiritual experience.
It really was. The second we walked through the door, the vibe was just immaculate.
Oh, the vibe. It was this gorgeous, dimly lit space. So much rich gold-accented decor everywhere, heavily carved wood panels, plush velvet booths that just swallow you up.
I wanted to nap in that booth.
Same. And they had this really soothing, rhythmic sitar music playing in the background. But it's the smell. The smell completely took me out of my body.
Oh my God, the aroma. It hits you like a warm, weighted blanket the moment you pull the door open.
Yes.
You have the toasted cumin, the complex warmth of the cardamom, the sharp bite of garlic, the slow simmering tomatoes reducing for hours. I literally felt my cortisol levels and my blood pressure drop by 10 points just standing at the host stand.
We ordered a massive feast. A truly ridiculous, borderline offensive amount of food for 2 human beings on a Tuesday afternoon.
We ordered for a family of 6.
We basically did.
Yeah.
We got the butter chicken, obviously, the
Yeah.
spicy chicken tikka masala because we needed the heat.
An absolutely unhinged amount of garlic naan, literally dripping in melted ghee and fresh cilantro.
Oh, the naan. And perfectly crispy samosas with a spiced potato filling, that bright, acidic mint chutney.
Plus 2 ice-cold, perfectly sweet mango lasses to wash it all down.
It was heaven. But we need to have a serious, rigorous debate right now because we were arguing about this at the table for 20 minutes.
We were getting heated.
Which dish actually won lunch? Because you have an incorrect opinion.
I am firmly, immovably on the side of the garlic naan. That bread was a religious experience.
It was just bread.
It is never just bread. The mechanics of a good naan are so specific. You have the pillowy, airy texture on the inside, the charred, blistered, crispy edges from the extreme heat of the tandoor oven,
I mean, yes, the edges were good.
and the sheer, unabashed volume of garlic. It was culinary perfection. I could eat it every day for the rest of my life.
Okay, the naan was incredible. I will absolutely give you that. It was the perfect vehicle. But you are wrong. The butter chicken won.
Absolutely not.
Yes, that sauce. The richness of the cream, the depth of flavor from the slow-roasted spices, the way the chicken was marinated so perfectly in yogurt that it just functionally melted in your mouth.
It was good, but it didn't change my life like the naan did.
I genuinely deeply think that specific bowl of butter chicken cured my seasonal depression. It is the elite, undefeated champion of comfort foods, period.
I will concede that Indian food in general is the elite comfort food. It just wraps you up. It's heavy, it's complex, it's warm. But I stand by the carbohydrates. The carbs always win because they provide immediate dopamine.
We can agree to disagree on the specifics, but we agree on the vibe. But babes, before we get into the episode, we need to discuss the 3 messiest things we learned this week.
Because we have been observing the human condition closely, and it is a complete mess.
A profound disaster.
Mm.
Lesson number 1. We went back on the dating apps this week.
I know, a terrible choice. I regret it immediately.
And babes, men are still aggressively men.
They really, really are. Nothing has changed. The bar is still actively buried in the 9th circle of hell.
Tell them exactly what you found. It is too funny.
Okay, so I'm swiping, right? Just doing my absolute bare minimum due diligence as a single person. And I come across this guy's profile. Decent looking, holding a fish in one picture, which, you know, is the standard state-mandated uniform for men on dating apps, whatever.
It's the law at this point.
Right. But his main profile picture, he has clearly attempted to crop out his ex-girlfriend. But he did a fundamentally terrible job.
It was so bad.
He cropped out her face and her body, but her hand, with a fully manicured, unmistakable set of pink acrylic nails, is still resting completely firmly on his shoulder.
Like a phantom limb.
Yes, a terrifying ghost of relationships past just gripping his collarbone.
It is so wildly chaotic. Like, let's unpack the psychology of this for a second. Did he truly think no one would notice the disembodied, manicured hand resting on him?
He must have.
Does the male brain just literally not process visual information in the periphery? Did he not have a single, solitary other photo of himself looking relatively nice that didn't feature another human woman physically clutching him?
It proves that they simply do not look at details. Their visual focus is entirely egocentric.
Wow. Yeah.
He looked at his own face, decided his jawline looked sharp, and completely ignored the fact that he was essentially advertising his emotional baggage right on his shoulder. They just do not care.
It was the messiest, most low-effort thing I've seen all week.
Truly pathetic. Okay, lesson number 2, though. is much more positive and grounded.
Yeah.
Peach bellinis are officially superior to almost every other summer drink in existence.
Yes, I fully support this lesson, and I demand to know right now if anything can realistically, logically dethrone them. Because I really don't think it's chemically possible.
I'm trying to think of contenders, but they all fall short.
Right. The Aperol Spritz had its massive cultural moment, but let's be honest, it's just too bitter for extended drinking.
2 max, and then your stomach hurts.
Exactly. A margarita is fantastic, but it's aggressive. The tequila hits you too fast, and suddenly you're crying about an ex from 2018.
We've all been there.
The Bellini is the perfect scientifically balanced ratio of sweet peach puree, frosty texture, and dangerously sneaky alcohol.
See, for a brief second, I was going to try and argue for the espresso martini.
Oh, in the summer.
Wait, let me explain. Because it gives you that intense caffeine jolt, that stimulant bump to keep the night going when the alcohol acts as a depressant.
I mean, logically, yes.
But then I remembered we are talking specifically about summer drinks. Drinking a heavy, frothy espresso martini on a 90-degree humid patio is a literal recipe for sudden onset heart palpitations.
You would actually pass out.
It's an autumnal drink. I completely retract my submission. The Bellini reigns supreme.
Exactly. Thank you for seeing reason. And finally, lesson number 3.
Oh, this one is my favorite.
Being adults is mostly just an elaborate theatrical performance of pretending we know what we're doing.
It is all smoke and mirrors.
And I have the most mortifying, embarrassing story to prove this theory from this week.
Oh, please share. I absolutely love when you expose your own fraudulent behavior.
Shut up. Okay, so I had to call my accountant this week to deal with some complex tax stuff for the clinic.
Sounds very grown up.
Right. And I am trying so incredibly hard to sound authoritative, professional, and financially literate. I'm casually dropping phrases like deductions and itemized business expenses with my whole chest, trying to sound like a Wall Street titan.
Oh, you were really acting.
I was going for an Oscar. And then he asked me a super basic, fundamental question about my W-2 versus my 1099 income. And babes, I literally blanked. My brain completely flatlined.
Oh no, the classic freeze response.
Yes. I'm on the phone going, yes, absolutely, the forms, the specific forms, while frantically, aggressively typing into Google, what is the actual difference between a W-2 and a 1099?
While he's just waiting on the line.
Yes. This highly educated financial professional is just waiting in dead silence for an answer.
The panic you must have felt.
And just to explain the technicality for anyone else faking adulthood out there, a W-2 means your employer is taking out your taxes for you, and a 1099 means you're an independent contractor and the IRS is going to come for you directly if you don't save your own money.
Essential knowledge.
But in that moment, I felt like a toddler wearing a slightly oversized suit. The entire facade of adulthood is just a massive collective scam.
It is 100% a scam. We are all just wearing expensive scrubs and tailored business casual clothes, desperately hoping no one realizes we are just 3 toddlers stacked in a trench coat trying to blindly navigate the United States tax code.
Exactly. But speaking of toddlers in a trench coat trying to navigate the adult world with zero actual life skills.
Oh, I love this transition.
Let's pour a very fresh, very heavy Bellini and naturally segue into the absolute, unmitigated historical massacre that was the Southern Hospitality Season 4 Reunion Part 1. Because, babes, we are deeply spiraling.
Pour it heavy, because we are going to need the fortitude. This episode was a literal masterclass in grand illusion, systemic workplace toxicity, and some of the most baffling sartorial choices I have ever witnessed.
I'm still recovering.
Let's start with the overall vibe check and the set design. Because first of all, the Bravo production team absolutely snapped with this set.
Oh my gosh, yes. We have to give credit where credit is due. It was a literal perfect replica of the Republic Club.
The attention to detail was insane.
The tufted leather couches, the velvet VIP stanchions, the dark, moody, slightly aggressive lighting. It looked incredible. It completely immersed them right back into the scene of the crime.
I was completely geeking out over the logistics of building that. But contrasting that beautiful, sleek set was the sheer, palpable, heavy exhaustion radiating from every single cast member walking into that building.
They looked so tired.
Did you see them arriving in the morning? They looked like they were marching directly to the gallows. The physical toll of filming a reality show, drinking constantly, and fighting for months, You could see it in their hollowed out faces.
They really did look entirely depleted. I mean, right out the gate, the cameras catch Maddie in her dressing room, pacing around like a caged, anxious tiger.
She was vibrating.
She is just breathless, vibrating with nervous energy, looking in the mirror and saying, I want to get on stage and get this over with. It's going to be really hard for me not to beat Molly Moore's fucking ass.
The aggression so early in the morning.
Like, babes, it is 8:00 a.m. We haven't even had an iced coffee yet. The sun is barely up, and you are ready to throw physical hands over VIP hosting duties. The adrenaline dump she was experiencing before even stepping onto the stage was insane.
And then you have Emmy. Let's talk about Emmy arriving. She shows up wearing head to toe, stark black, looking completely dead and hollowed out behind the eyes.
It was chilling.
It legitimately looked like she was attending her own Bravo funeral, which, honestly, metaphorically speaking, she kind of was.
She really was.
But we need to pivot and talk about the outfits on the actual stage, because there were some deeply malicious, highly questionable choices made by the men.
Please, the outfits were pure, unfiltered chaos.
Okay, Joe Bradley. Let's clinically examine Joey Rooftops for a second. Andy Cohen, doing his job, asks him who planned his reunion outfit.
This killed me.
And Joe, just casually, with zero shame, drops that the custom suit he was going to pick up simply didn't fit, so he is actively wearing Michols' tuxedo from last year's Gillette Awards.
I screamed.
Yeah.
I literally shrieked at my television.
It's unbelievable.
You are on national television. This is your highly anticipated reunion, your one moment to control the narrative, and you are borrowing a coworker's old tailored award show tux because you couldn't be bothered to figure out your own sizing in time.
It is so incredibly perfectly on brand for Joe's current era.
It is.
He is just flying entirely by the seat of his pants, making zero preparations, and desperately hoping his jawline and a borrowed lapel will save him from accountability.
And the suit didn't even look that good on him.
No. And the semiotics of the clothing are fascinating. Like, what are they trying to project? Because then we have Michols.
Oh, boy.
Andy asks what his outfit represents, and he is wearing this heavy, bizarre scarf thing wrapped tightly around his neck that looks exactly like a priest's collar.
It looked like he was about to give a sermon.
And Michols looks dead into the camera and goes, somebody's funeral, we're going to put a lot of lies to rest.
Yeah.
The absolute dramatics of it all.
And he didn't just bring the funeral scarf. He brought the binder of doom. We have to unpack this immediately.
We'll open the binder. Let's get into it.
The Michols versus Molly and Maddie feud. Michols literally shows up to a reunion stage carrying a heavily padded, aggressively color-coded binder full of printed receipts.
And when Andy asks if it's color-coded, Michols just proudly, without missing a beat, goes, yes, because I'm gay.
As if that justifies it.
Like, that somehow logically explains bringing a physical 3-ring binder to a reality television reunion in the year 2026.
Okay, but my immediate, visceral, emotional reaction to this is that it is so incredibly petty, immature, and dark. I felt my blood physically boiling watching him.
He was uncomfortable.
He and Lake were completely systematically ganging up on Molly. And let's look at why. Molly literally articulated it perfectly in the episode.
She nailed it.
She explicitly thinks Michols wants to fire her, not because of her work ethic, but just because she refused to be his follower. She wouldn't blindly stroke his ego. She wouldn't be part of his little entourage. So he decides to weaponize HR and make her daily life a living hell.
It's middle school mean girl behavior transplanted into a corporate environment.
It's gross.
Oh, I agree. It's deeply toxic. It is the exact psychology of petty tyranny in the service industry. When middle management feels disrespected, they use administrative power to punish insubordination.
Yes, exactly.
But let's analytically break down what is actually inside this terrifying color-coded binder of doom. Because he's holding it tight to his chest like it contains the nation's nuclear launch codes.
And what is it, babes?
It's bad Yelp reviews from 2 years ago.
2 full years ago.
The Snark squad online was absolutely tearing this tactical air to shreds. The logic is so flawed. As anyone who has worked in the service industry knows, one bad review isn't a sign of a bad employee.
Not at all. Customers lie all the time.
And there is an inherent gender bias in these online reviews. Women are much more likely to be accused of having an attitude and get harsher reviews overall.
That is such a profound point. If we look at the mechanics of customer reviews, it is overwhelmingly slanted against women. Customers will go online and leave a scathing 1-star Yelp review just because a female bartender didn't smile warmly enough at them while she was actively in the weeds, making 8 complicated espresso martinis at once in a deafeningly loud club.
Exactly.
To use those old, completely subjective, unverified reviews from strangers as a targeted weapon to try and get a female coworker fired is genuinely unhinged behavior.
It is absurd. You do not bring 2024 Yelp reviews to a 2026 reunion to justify a personal vendetta. It fundamentally proves that Michols has absolutely nothing real, nothing tangible on her performance.
Nothing. And I was so incredibly relieved when Leva finally stepped in and shut it down.
The CEO finally spoke.
She activated her true, terrifying corporate boss mode. She sat there looking flawless and basically explained the actual laws of management to him on national television.
She schooled him.
If you fire someone for your own personal emotional gripes, you are the one getting fired for wrongful termination.
Yes. Leva was absolutely not playing with them. She has to manage this entire hospitality empire, and she's dealing with a staff that treats severe HR violations like a competitive intramural sport.
Like it's an Olympic event.
Because we also found out about the rampant write-ups across the board. Emmy getting written up for a no-call, no-show on a busy Thursday shift, which is a massive deal in the service industry.
Huge deal. You just don't do that.
Molly getting written up allegedly for getting into a screaming fight with another bartender behind the bar. Maddie aggressively yelling across the stage that Molly has been written up 3 times. It is just a constant suffocating cloud of workplace toxicity.
Which naturally, seamlessly leads us to the most radioactive, toxic dynamic of all.
Here we go.
Maddie and Joe.
Oh, babes. The fake foundation. The sheer delusion.
We have to unpack the psychology of this relationship because the central driving mystery of this entire season has been, what is the actual grounded reality of this romantic relationship? Is it real, or is it a survival alliance for television?
And did not hold back. He went right for the jugular.
He really did.
He asked the hard questions right away. He looked point blank at Maddie and asked, "Did your relationship start with a lie?"
And her face.
Her response was so incredibly telling from a behavioral standpoint. She basically dodged the question entirely.
She literally just stared.
If someone asks you, "Did your relationship start with a lie?" and you answer, "I don't know," that is kind of the ball game, girly.
It totally is.
Yeah.
If the answer isn't an immediate, forceful, offended no, then the underlying truth is yes.
Exactly.
And Joe practically admitted it right next to her.
Mm-hmm.
He sat there and confessed, with surprising vulnerability, honestly, that he was deeply, fundamentally insecure about Maddie's lingering emotional attachment to her ex-boyfriend, Trevor.
He looked so sad when he said it.
He felt like he was second best, like he was just the safe, available fallback option.
Which is crazy to watch unfold because, honestly, why are we still talking about Trevor?
Literally. Trevor is like the terrifying, toxic ghost that constantly haunts King Street.
He haunts the entire narrative.
But the tangent we absolutely have to go on right now, because my brain cannot let it go, is Brad Carter.
Oh, Brad.
I'm spiraling over Brad. The man sat on a reunion stage under hot studio lights and completely doubled down on the fact that he actively fabricated cheating rumors about Trevor, specifically to psychologically hurt Maddie.
And the method he used.
And the rumor was that he hired a paid actress to pretend to be the other woman.
We have to look at the dark triad traits here.
Let's do it.
Brad's literal defense was, "I would never pay to torture Maddie. I just do it for free."
As if that's better.
Like, he genuinely, earnestly thought that clarification made him sound like a better person. He is proudly, smugly admitting to engaging in premeditated psychological warfare against his coworker purely for his own amusement, for free.
It is terrifying. It is actual sociopathic behavior.
It is deeply disturbing.
And Maddie, instead of addressing that absolute insanity, just digs her heels in and doubles down on her own mess.
Yeah.
She absolutely refused to apologize for spreading the back alley BJ rumors about Brad.
She wouldn't budge.
She just sat there, her arms tightly crossed over her chest, displaying terrible defensive body language, and kept repeating, "I saw what I saw, and I only apologize when I lie."
Maddie's body language is very telling. It is fascinating to watch. She was so entirely closed off, physically building a wall between herself and the cast.
You could see the tension in her shoulders.
She was desperate to maintain this tough, unbothered alpha status, but you could see she was crumbling under the pressure. And Joe wasn't doing much better. We need to talk about his massive, completely unearned career pivot.
Oh my God, Joe leaving Republic.
He claimed he felt stagnant under Leva's management, but Leva fully exposed the reality of his work ethic.
She dragged him.
She said he had autonomy, he had freedom, but he became highly, chronically unreliable. He was literally ghosting the venue, disappearing during shifts, and management didn't know where he was.
He was skipping actual paying work to go to the beach or hang out with Mia.
So his grand entrepreneurial solution to being a terrible, unreliable employee is to suddenly start his own luxury business, King Straight Concierge.
I cannot even say the name out loud without laughing into my drink.
And the fans absolutely dragged him for this delusion of grandeur. Like, did Joe Bradley steal Landon's travel website?
Oh my gosh, Rome. It's giving Rome.
It's entirely giving Rome. And then, this is the absolute funniest, most damning part. The fans pulled up the actual registry for his website URL.
Tell them what it was.
It was jokebradley.com.
He fumbled his own name. How do you mess up your own name?
He fumbled the URL entirely, and right on the main homepage, in massive text, it proudly proclaimed, launching summer 2026.
Joe, it is summer 2026.
You are sitting on a reunion stage discussing it right now. The complete and utter lack of execution is staggering. He didn't even get the website URL right.
He desperately wants to be perceived as this high-rolling, connected entrepreneur, but he cannot even execute the basic mechanics of buying a Squarespace domain correctly.
It is the illusion of work without doing any of the actual labor.
I know we were roasting him endlessly and we love analyzing the mess, but we do need to take a brief, genuine, sincere pause right now.
We do.
Because amidst all this chaos, Andy brought up a really important fact. The exact day they filmed this grueling, toxic reunion was Maddie's exact 12-year sobriety anniversary.
Yes. Let's raise our leanies to that respectfully.
Truly.
Yeah.
We love the mess, we love the drama, but let's be real about the psychology of addiction.
It's no joke.
Getting sober at a very young age, completely rewiring your coping mechanisms, and successfully maintaining that sobriety for 12 straight years while actively working in nightclubs, surrounded by free-flowing liquor and the most chaotic, triggering people on earth.
It's a massive accomplishment.
That is a monumental accomplishment. 12 years is amazing. We respect the growth, babes. We really do.
We do. It requires immense fortitude. Now, having said that,
Back to the gutter.
let's descend right back into the gutter. We need to talk about the deeply blurred boundaries between TJ and Michols.
Okay, this dynamic was wild to watch.
Truly wild.
The fact that long-time platonic friends, TJ and Michols,
Yeah.
finally crossed the line and hooked up, and they specifically did it while casually watching Meredith Marks on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
The ambiance was strictly Bravo.
I honestly think it's iconic. It is so messy, but it is deeply, fundamentally iconic. It's the ultimate Bravo meta moment.
It is the most Bravo-coded hookup in television history. Parasocial relationships blurring with real-life intimacy. But the psychological aftermath is where it gets dark and imbalanced.
It got weird really fast.
There is this huge pervasive rumor floating around the cast that TJ only hooked up with Michols to explicitly secure a storyline for the season to ensure his contract gets renewed.
Which TJ vehemently denies.
He denies it, but you can clearly see the power dynamic shifting. Michols desperately, hungrily wants TJ to be obsessed with him.
Yes, Michols wants TJ to be all over him.
Michols has an anxious attachment style here. He caught real feelings, or at the very least his ego desperately required the boost of TJ actively chasing him.
And TJ does not care.
TJ has an avoidance style. He is just treating it like a casual, meaningless Tuesday.
He's like, yeah, we made out while Mary Cosby was yelling on TV about hospital smell. Whatever, it's not a big deal.
It is so painfully unbalanced.
Yeah.
And Michols cannot handle being casual. He requires high stakes. He wants the drama.
Which brings us to someone who unfortunately found herself in very real, very high-stakes legal drama.
Oh, Grace Lilly.
This was honestly the heaviest, most uncomfortable part of the episode for me. Grace getting arrested on real-life harassment charges.
Real-world consequences.
And then compounding that, the absolute disaster of a joke she made in Charlotte about Maddie and Joe's sex life that got her completely iced out by all the girls for the entire summer.
She was completely systematically excluded from the group. But sitting on the reunion stage, I have to say her level of accountability was highly questionable.
See, my initial emotional reaction was empathy. Yeah, she talked openly about taking things day by day with AA and therapy. She talked about the mechanics of protecting her peace, like actively deleting triggering contacts from her phone to stop herself from spiraling.
Okay, yes, the therapy part is good.
I really felt for her because you can clearly see she is actually struggling in real life. It isn't just manufactured reality TV drama, it's a real crisis.
And I deeply appreciate that she is seeking professional help. I really do. But my snarky, analytical side simply cannot ignore the glaring cognitive dissonance when Andy explicitly asked about the legal charges.
Oh, her answer was bad.
She sat up totally straight, looked dead ahead, and said, "My legal team is confident the charges will be dropped."
Like, sure, Jen.
Let's explain how the legal system works. The police do not usually arrest you for harassment unless there is a pretty substantial, undeniable paper trail of evidence.
Right, it's not a suggestion.
It is a delusion to think it just magically disappears. Grace, you need to work a real program.
It's definitely a very long, difficult road ahead for her. But honestly, the tension in the room during Grace's segment was absolutely nothing compared to the suffocating black hole of awkwardness that was Emmy's vow of silence.
Oh my God. Emmy, the exile. We have to unpack the mechanics of what happened here.
We have to.
She comes into the season engaged, happily planning a wedding, sitting on top of the hierarchy, and by the reunion, she is completely off the Republic schedule, facing intense, vitriolic online backlash, and dealing with massive, cast-wide cheating rumors about her fiancé, Will.
A total fall from grace.
And Andy directly asks her about Will being out of state, and she just completely physically freezes up.
It was so physically uncomfortable to watch. It was the ultimate freeze trauma response.
Total shutdown.
She crossed her arms tightly, she clamped her mouth entirely shut, and she violently gripped the arms of her chair. Her knuckles were literally stark white.
The whole energy of the room just violently shifted. You could hear a pin drop.
It was extreme awkwardness, and she just started silently crying while aggressively refusing to speak a single word.
She completely shut down her nervous system, and TJ pressed the issue.
He went for it.
He pushed her about her calling him a predator and saying he's unsafe to be around, and she just flat out refused to engage. I'm sorry, but it immediately starkly reminded me of Erika Jayne during the height of the Tom Girardi legal fallout, or Ramona Singer violently refusing to talk about Mario's cheating on the classic RHONY reunion.
Oh, that is such a good comparison.
People online literally dubbed her Emmy Kirk.
Emmy Kirk.
Yeah.
That is so ruthless, but so accurate.
It is entirely accurate. Emmy has Erika Kirk vibes. Let's talk about the panopticon of reality television. You enter into an unwritten but very real contractual obligation.
You signed your life away.
You trade your privacy for fame and a paycheck. You cannot willingly sign a reality TV contract, sit on a reunion stage directly in front of Andy Cohen and say, "I will not engage in any discussion."
You literally can't do that.
That is fundamentally not how the mechanism of this genre works. You are literally being paid to discuss the messy reality of your life.
I felt awful for her because she looked so genuinely broken and fragile, but you are analytically right. You have to answer the questions or the machine will crush you.
It will eat you alive.
Which perfectly naturally transitions us into our first official segment for the night, babes. It is time for Employee of the Mess.
Let's get right into it. The setup here is simple, but the debate will be fierce. Who contributed the absolute most chaos to this reunion episode? We are breaking it down into 3 specific categories. First category, the biggest drama starter. Who are you nominating for this high honor?
I mean, I feel like this is glaringly obvious, but I have to formally nominate Michols.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyone, literally anyone, who takes the premeditated time to print out, hole punch, and meticulously place 2-year-old Yelp reviews into a color-coordinated binder, specifically to bring to a Bravo reunion, is waking up and actively, happily choosing violence.
They are waking up and choosing chaos.
He didn't just casually start drama. He curated it. He laminated it. He weaponized it.
I completely agree with your assessment. Michols wins biggest drama starter easily. The sheer, terrifying premeditation required to assemble the whack-ass binder is a level of commitment to chaos we have to respect.
Okay, second category. Messiest decision maker. Who made the objectively worst choices?
This one goes straight to Joe Bradley for me.
Oh, without a single doubt in my mind. Explain your reasoning.
The man ghosted his actual paying, stable job at Republic because he felt stagnant. He systematically alienated every single male friend he has, Justin, TJ, Brad, because he couldn't handle their criticism.
He pushed everyone away.
He is clinging desperately to a relationship with Maddie that seems built on a foundation of emotional quicksand and shared trauma. And the piece de resistance, he genuinely thought launching a luxury concierge website with a break-in URL that clearly says summer 2026 was a brilliant boss move business decision.
He is a walking disaster.
Every single decision he made this season was aggressively, profoundly messy. He is actively navigating his adult life using a magic 8-ball that only ever says, reply hazy, try again. It's spectacular to watch. Okay, final category for employee of the mess. Most entertaining.
I think we both know exactly who we were picking for this one.
We do. It's Maddie.
It has to be Maddie. Her chaotic dressing room energy alone was terrifying in the absolute best way possible.
She was unhinged.
Pacing around the tiny room in full heavy glam, looking like a stressed-out mob boss, growling under her breath about beating Molly's ass. She delivered the raw sound bites. She brought the unhinged, feral energy we require as viewers to stay engaged.
She delivered on the promise of reality television. Employee of the mess goes to Michols, Joe, and Maddie, a terrifying, beautiful trifecta of chaos. Which brings us to our next segment, and I'm ready to be ruthless. VIP access revoked.
The setup for this is critical. Based strictly on their behavior in this episode, who would immediately, permanently lose access to the exclusive Snark Squad VIP section. The velvet rope is being aggressively closed on them.
Let's start with the worst behavior category, and I am slamming the VIP door firmly, locking it, and throwing away the key on Emmy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brutal. But I need to hear the logic.
It absolutely has to be done. I argued the mechanics of this earlier, but I will reiterate it. VIPs bring energy. VIPs bring content. VIPs participate in the ecosystem.
They give us something to talk about.
Exactly. If you sit on the most important reunion stage of your career, physically cross your arms, cry without speaking a word, and give Andy Cohen absolute defiant silence on the biggest, most pivotal storyline of your entire year, your access is instantly revoked. You are giving the audience absolutely nothing. Go sit in general admission with the mortals.
I cannot even emotionally defend her against that logic. You're entirely right. She broke the contract of the show. Okay, next category for VIP access revoked. Biggest red flags. And babes, I am looking directly, unblinkingly at Justin Assad.
The newbie. Okay, tell me exactly why. Break down the red flags.
The relentless, suffocating love bombing. He comes into the group, aggressively charms everyone, and immediately starts entangling himself in these messy, complicated local love triangles.
He was moving so fast.
But the real red flag, even Andy explicitly brought up that Charlie told him to shut down all the love bombing allegations before he got on stage.
Wow.
If you have to actively strategize with your peers on how to cleverly dodge love bombing allegations before a reunion, you are a walking, talking, breathing red flag. VIP access revoked. Take your intense eye contact and charm somewhere else.
I fully, completely support that decision. Love bombing is a manipulative tactic, and we don't allow it in VIP. And finally, most questionable choice. I am formally revoking VIP access from Brad Carter.
Oh, interesting pivot. Why Brad?
Because of his deeply unsettling morning routine. Andy asked him, just making casual conversation, if he hit the hotel gym before the reunion. And Brad, casually, with zero inflection, says, no, I slept until 7:30. I needed the rest.
Wait, I'm missing it. Why is sleeping a revocable offense?
Because think about the context. Every single other person on that cast was up all night spiraling. Maddie was pacing the floors. Leva was stressed about her business. Michols was probably frantically color-coding his binder at 3:00 a.m. under a desk lamp.
True, they were all panicking.
Who sleeps peacefully, deeply, for 8 uninterrupted hours before a Bravo massacre. A sociopath, babes.
Oh my God.
Only a true sociopath can rest that easily, knowing they fabricated a vicious rumor using a paid actress to destroy a coworker's life. His nervous system is fundamentally broken. He feels no anxiety because he feels no empathy. VIP access revoked.
That is such an incredibly analytical, dark, deeply psychological take, and I'm obsessed with it. You're absolutely right. He slept like a baby because he literally feels no guilt. Terrifying. Keep him out of VIP. Okay, let's lighten the mood slightly with our next segment, the Weekend Out Survival Test.
This is historically my favorite segment.
The setup is we are forced by a hypothetical twist of fate to go out for a full, chaotic, 48-hour bender weekend in Charleston with the cast of Southern Hospitality. We have to assign roles. First up, who are we actually genuinely choosing to party with?
I know exactly who you're going to pick, and I already agree.
It's Grace Lilly. 100%. Zero hesitation.
Obviously.
She brings the exact brand of delusional cosmic glamour that I crave on a night out. Yes, she has serious pending legal woes, but she also fully genuinely believes she is the absolute center of the universe.
It's the law of attraction.
If we go out with Grace, the mechanics of reality bend to her will. We are somehow getting expensive bottle service for free. We are somehow bypassing every single line on King Street. And honestly, we'd probably end up manifesting a yacht by 2:00 a.m. It would be an incredibly chaotic night, but it would be glamorous.
I do not disagree at all. She has that weird, unexplainable energy that forces the world to accommodate her. Now, conversely, who are we actively, strategically avoiding on this night out?
Molly and Lake? I simply cannot do it. My nervous system couldn't handle it.
Absolutely not. The energy is way too exhausting and deeply negative. I do not want to be 3 tequila shots deep, feeling great, and suddenly find myself caught in the crossfire of them aggressively screaming at each other over the logistics of a paint and pour event.
It kills the buzz immediately.
I don't want to hear about mutual acquaintances named Jordan. I just want to dance and drink my leanie. They bring the overall vibe down to the level of a dreary municipal court hearing.
Too much yelling, too much litigating past grievances, not enough dancing, hard avoid.
Okay, who would completely disappear halfway through the night without saying goodbye?
Joe Bradley. It is historically, empirically documented.
He is the king of the Irish goodbye.
He would literally ghost us. We'd be standing at the bar, holding our drinks, turning around to ask him a question, and he'd just be gone, evaporated. Off to go secretly meet up with Mia or wander the cobblestone streets of Charleston looking for his missing jawline.
He literally got suspended from his actual job for doing exactly this. He is a massive flight risk. A total flight risk? Never trust him to hold your coat. And finally, who would actively create intense drama before the appetizers even arrive at the table?
Oh, Michols. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Definitely Michols.
We would sit down at the table, the ambiance would be lovely, and before the waiter even finishes pouring the tap water, Michols would find a bizarre reason to complain about the waiter's tone.
And then he'd pull out the receipts.
He would reach into his oversized designer bag, pull out a printed, laminated receipt of his specific grievances with this exact restaurant from 2022 and aggressively demand to speak to the general manager.
He would ruin the entire meal. He would get us physically kicked out of the establishment before the calamari even drops.
He really would. He thrives in conflict. All right, babes, it is time for our final, most important segment. The gavel is officially banging. It is time for the Bellini Truth Tribunal.
All rise for the tribunal. The setup is simple, but the judgments are final. We are putting the biggest, most pivotal decisions from this episode strictly on trial, and we have to deliver a binding verdict on each one. Was the decision smart, delusional, or Bellini-induced?
Let's hear the facts of case number 1.
Case number 1. TJ and Michols crossing the boundary of their friendship and hooking up specifically while watching Meredith Marks on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. What is the official verdict?
Well, I'm taking this one because I know I have very strong, very specific feelings about the mechanics of this scenario.
Go ahead, counselor.
The verdict is unequivocally 100% Bellini-induced. There is absolutely no other logical, sober explanation for this. You are blurring the lines of a long-time stable friendship and hooking up with your volatile coworker while a woman on television is loudly screaming about rumors and nastiness.
It's just bad staging.
You have to be deeply, profoundly intoxicated by frozen peach beverages to look at that situation and think, yes, this is the exact romantic ambiance I've been waiting for to make my move. It was a decision made entirely by the alcohol receptors in the brain, not the prefrontal cortex.
I completely second that verdict. Bellini-induced all the way. The judgment stands. Okay, case number 2. Lake's mom giving her the specific pre-reunion mantra, I am smart, I show grace, I'm a bad bitch. What is the verdict?
I mean, I personally love a good grounding affirmation.
The verdict is smart. It is the only functional, psychologically healthy piece of advice given during the entire season by anyone on screen.
True. Everyone else was giving terrible advice.
Lake's mom looked at the absolute toxic circus her daughter actively works in, realized she couldn't physically save her from the clowns, and just gave her a psychological shield of self-esteem to walk into the fire with. I am smart, I show grace, I'm a bad bitch. Put it on a t-shirt. Sell it at the Republic merch stand. It's a brilliant coping mechanism.
Honestly, I might take a dry erase marker and write that exact phrase on my bathroom mirror before I go back to the dental clinic on Monday morning.
Yeah.
It works for literally everything.
Use it for the double-booked patients.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay, final case for the tribunal. Case number 3. Emmy, drawing a hard line in the sand, crossing her arms, and aggressively refusing to defend or discuss Will.
The verdict is delusional. Capital D, neon lights, delusional.
Absolute, profoundly delusional.
You are sitting on a Bravo reunion stage. You are looking directly into the highly trained eyes of Andy Cohen. The man wants his answers. He is a producer. His job is to extract the narrative.
That's why he's there.
He is not going to just look at your crossed arms and say, oh, okay, you don't want to talk about the main plot point of your entire year. No problem. Let's talk about the Charleston weather.
Exactly.
To genuinely think you can just stonewall the massive production company that signs your paychecks without facing massive immediate career consequences is the absolute peak of reality TV delusion.
It's so true. The Bravo machine demands a sacrifice to keep running. And if you don't willingly offer one up, they will just consume you instead. It was a terrible, strategically flawed, completely delusional strategy.
Well, the tribunal has officially spoken, the gavels are down, and honestly, looking at it, my glass is completely empty.
Babes, what an episode. What an absolutely draining season. We are exhausted. Our nervous systems are emotionally drained, but we are so, so happy. We got to unpack the psychology of this mess with you. Snark Squad, thank you so much for hanging out with us, drinking with us, and spiraling with us today.
We truly couldn't do this without you. You guys validate our insanity and our deep analytical dives into reality TV every single week. But before we let you go off into your weekend, we have to ask you some questions. Head down to the comments right now and tell us. What was your rose and thorn of the week? Did you have a wholesome, pediatric level moment? Or did you have a full-blown waiting room meltdown?
And honestly, more importantly, what is your elite go-to Indian food order? Are you team garlic naan like Jay, just chasing the carbohydrates? Or are you team butter chicken like someone with actual refined taste? Let us know.
Oh, whatever. Also, please report in from the trenches. Have you survived the dating apps lately? Or are the men still aggressively, blindly menning out there? Please send us your worst screenshots of ghost hands.
And finally, who do you think was the absolute messiest person on this reunion stage? Let's fight about the psychology of it in the comments. And babes, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast with your messiest bestie. Send it directly to the friend who brings a laminated binder to a casual brunch argument. They need to hear this intervention.
They really do. As always, thank you for being the absolute best, most analytical community on the internet. And remember, no matter what happens this weekend, no matter how many bad Yelp reviews you get in life,
Stay hydrated, stay Bellini-fueled, and we'll see you on the Snark side.